As part of its mandate of managing the country's water resources, the Hydromet service is responsible for ascertaining the quality of these water resources both above ground, as in streams, rivers, etc., and below ground, as in the case of wells. This aspect of the Hydromet's responsibility is now being fully met since the commissioning of its water quality testing laboratory just over a year ago. Chief Hydromet Officer Dr. Garvin Cummings says that apart from the Hydromet service, no other entity in Guyana collects or has in its possession water quality data from anywhere in Guyana.
So the Hydrometeorological Service has a wide range of responsibilities, one of which has to do with the collection, archiving of water quality data. In fact, the Water and Sewage Act 2002 mandates the Hydrometeorological Service to establish a water quality information system. There's no institution in Guyana that we're aware of that has historical data for the entire country. So essentially what the Hydromet Service is mandated to do is to have in its possession to collect water quality data for all of Guyana, essentially generating a database of baseline data for all of the country. In order to achieve this, the Water Quality Lab was established in 2019, and the work of the lab is essentially to collect water quality data from all across Guyana, to analyze that data and to create information for public consumption.
Speaking to the current operational parameters of the Water Quality Lab, Dr. Cummings said it focuses on the conduct of physical, chemical, and biological analysis of water samples from across the country.
The Water Quality Lab, even though small, was designed to essentially start with a very basic type of water quality monitoring, and then to expand into more complex type of water quality monitoring. So right now the Water Quality Lab has been designed to carry out physical, chemical, and biological testing of water quality samples. At this point in time, we are not quite to the level where we can do biological testing, but we hope to get there shortly. We can do water quality testing in terms of temperatures, conductivity, suspended solids, and the more simpler type of parameters. As the lab grows, as it matures, then we'll expand the range of parameters that we can actually test for. Indeed, every year the government of Guyana will be making incremental investments into the Water Quality Lab so that we can get to the point where a wide suite of parameters can be tested for, and a comprehensive understanding of the state of Guyana's water resources can be had.
Ms. Felicia Passot is the hydrochemist attached to the Water Quality Laboratory at the Hydromet Services Brick Dam headquarters, and further explains the role of the lab and the services being offered.
We have the capacity at this very moment to test for a few parameters. Mostly we have pH, temperature, conductivity, turbidity, salinity, iron, phosphorus, nitrate, nitrite, free chlorine, RNS, biochemical oxygen demand, and nitrogen ammonium. So we are also on the verge of expanding our testing capabilities. We are at this very moment procuring a piece of equipment, the atomic observance spectrophotometry, to test for heavy metals such as mercury, cyanide, and lead. One of the pieces of equipment that we're presently using that does most for analysis is the DR3900 spectrophotometer. It does most of the laboratory analysis. We have a piece of equipment as well that we take out, or we call it more pocket protester, that does most of the field analysis. That is, we take out that out into the fields to run or to analyze most of the parameters that needs to be tested immediately at the very moment when we collect our water samples. Now, some other services that we are capable of doing, we're able as well, other agencies could call upon us to come and collect, or we can actually show persons, staff at other agencies how to collect their water samples as well. We also can prepare the water samples and maybe loan it to other agencies, or we can go as well and collect the water samples for them using our own water sample bottles. And another piece of equipment that we have is the R3900, the R1900 spectrophotometer, and that we use to test our chlorine analysis in water samples.
Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa says government recognizes the importance of the Hydromet service and all its subsets, inclusive of the Water Quality Laboratory, especially as Guyana moves towards promoting climate-smart agriculture.
The Hydromet has been playing a very important role in terms of agriculture in this country because we depend on the Hydromet office, and that is why we are trying to modernize the Hydromet office. Those instruments that are being used to do, first of all, to check the weather condition, I have asked the Hydromet officer, the chief of the Hydromet office, to ensure that we be more specific and we be more in a way that farmers can understand whenever we put out the weather forecast. If you know now that the weather forecast is being put out in a picture form, it's more easily to be to read and things like that. Those instruments that they are using to test for water is very important, not only on the coast, because on the coast you have a number of facility areas that you can do and agency can help, but especially in the hinterland area too. That is very important for wells to test water below the ground, to know where there is the water table, how much water is on the water table and things like that. So we'll use that around the country to help us, not only in the agriculture sector, which is very important for us to know, but we'll also help our sister agency like the GWI through the Ministry of Water and Housing so that we can collaborate and work together.
Some $550 million has been allocated in the 2021 national budget for the Hydromet service, of which $66 million will be used for capital projects.